Hey everyone, welcome back to the workshop. Artisan Pirate here, and in today's fun video we're going to be unboxing, testing, and reviewing a brand new miniature diode laser engraver. The mini diode lasers that are now becoming available on the market are very versatile tools to have out in your garage or workshop, especially if you are cramped for space and you do not have the proper room to set up a big dedicated laser engraver with the enclosure, the dust extraction, and everything on it. And the way that this laser that I'm about to show you is specifically marketed is you take the laser engraver to the work as opposed to bringing the work to the laser engraver. Now, it arrived on the doorstep the other day, and here it is still in the box. It says Acmer on it. That is the company that we are reviewing here, the Acmer Laser Company. I think I'm pronouncing that name properly, but it says S1 Laser Engraver, and this is the brand new 6-watt version of the laser, so please be aware of that. It is a lower wattage laser due to the miniature nature of the laser being a mini laser, but it's still going to be capable of producing a lot of creative and versatile designs, and we'll do a few test pieces in today's video as well as the unboxing. Now, I've seen a couple other S1 reviews before filming this video today, and from what I can tell, the laser is pretty much fully assembled right in the box, and again, nothing really shakes around inside, so everything is packaged perfectly. But you can see the fully assembled laser there, and I'm really excited to get it reviewed. Please also be aware, anytime you use a laser, to wear your safety UV goggles and have proper ventilation out in your garage or workshop. I do have my main daily driver laser in a proper enclosure with proper dust extraction. For today's video purposes, I will not be putting this mini laser in an enclosure. What I'll do is set it up right by the shop door, and I'll have a fan blowing on it to keep those fumes as minimal as possible out here in the workshop while we are giving it a proper review. But I'm really excited to get it unboxed and reviewed, so let's move the camera over to the workbench so we can get it out of the box and get it tested. And over here on the workbench, we're going to take my Swiss Army knife and we will cut the tape all the way around so we can get the box open. As I said, everything is packaged nice and tightly in some foam material in the shape of a cube. But we'll take it out of the box and remove the plastic. And right on top is the instruction manual and some sample materials. And then packed in the foam is some tools for maintenance, a piece of wood for testing on, the power adapter and cord. On the other side, we have a new pair of safety goggles as well as a cloth to keep it clean with. And we have the laser head itself. And as you can see, the laser is fully assembled right out of the box. The only thing that I am going to have to do is unpack the laser head here and hook the cord to it and attach it to the gantry, and you can see that I am doing it now. And that is all the assembly that you have to do for this little mini laser right out of the box. And here we have the fully assembled Acmer 6-watt mini laser engraver. You can see there wasn't really much assembly process at all. The only thing we had to do right out of the box, and you can see that it's roughly the size of a basic shoebox, the only thing we had to do was attach the actual laser head to the gantry arm and connect the wire there. All that's left to do now is to hook it to power and turn it on for the first time. So I'm really excited to use it and try it out. You can see that it does have a decent bed size here, so you can engrave stuff like slate drink coasters. You can engrave a logo on a leather bag or a pair of jeans or something like that. Also included in the box was a pair of safety UV goggles that we will wear throughout the whole testing process while the laser is powered on. It did come with some pieces of sample material. It came with a nice cloth to keep everything nice and clean. It came with a few tools for micro adjustments. Lasers constantly need to be adjusted because, you know, they're constantly running back and forth, so you at times have to take and retension the belts, tighten up something that's vibrated loose or things like that, so please be aware of it. It does come with a piece of cardboard to try out engraving on, and it comes with the quick start guide with the QR codes on the back, and it also comes with a user manual. Please be aware that when we move it over to the counter and I power it on, I'll be doing all of the testing with the Lightburn software. The laser is compatible with other softwares, but Lightburn is the go-to software that I use to test, review, and use all of the laser engravers that I show out here in the workshop. So let's get it moved over to the counter, get a fan on it to blow those fumes away, get our safety UV goggles on, and get it tested. And after moving the laser over to the counter and getting a fan on it by the shop door, we began testing. And the first test I did was a laser belt alignment test. This test is found online, and it tests to make sure that the tension on all of the belts on the laser are properly tensioned. And this is a piece of cardboard that was packaged in with the laser, and you can see that it is engraving on it, and it also cuts it exceptionally well. So really cool, great little test to do over on the laser. But after it was done, I was ready to try an engraving test, and also included in the laser was a scrap piece of the 3mm craft wood. So I just typed in the name of the laser and a few words on the Lightburn software and hit start. This is just a basic engraving test here. And obviously all of the footage is sped up here. I will talk more about each of the tests we done in today's video as we close the video towards the end. I think it took around 10 minutes to do this engraving test here. But you can see I typed in the company name, the size of the laser, and I put laser engraver there at the bottom. But then I also put a square border around it just to see how well it would laser cut through this material. Keep in mind this laser is a 6-watt laser, but it done a great job of laser cutting through it, and that got me curious for a better material test. And I cut a scrap piece of the 1/4 inch material I like to use over on my bigger diode laser and done a material test here that I have created in the Lightburn software. And what this will do is put some numbers on it, and this is a laser cut test to see how well a laser can cut through any given material that I load this test on. And also, this laser does not have air assist, so please be aware of that. But I just wanted to see how versatile this laser can be with 1/4 inch material by seeing how precisely and cleanly it can cut through it. But there you see that test is now complete, and now we are doing the final test, and we are going to be engraving a classic pirate skull on a slate drink coaster. These are always very popular, and people usually order these in sets of 4 to sit on the dinner table or on a side table in the home. If you guys like what you're seeing, I would highly encourage you to subscribe to my channel and also follow me across all my social media feeds under the Artisan Pirate name. I'd really appreciate the support. But as you can see, the laser is going back and forth, and it is etching into the slate material. And the cool thing about the slate drink coasters, the only thing you have to do for prep work with them is just give them a coat of clear coat and let it dry, and you are ready to engrave on them. But when it gets to the top and it finishes this slate coaster, all of our tests for today will be done, and I'll move back over to the workbench, and we will close the video by talking about each of the tests that we have done in today's video. But a really cool and versatile little mini laser engraver. And that, my friends, is going to about wrap up our review for the brand new 6-watt mini S1 laser engraver from the Acmer company. Acmer, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that properly, but as you can see, it is a very compact and versatile machine that would be a great option if you are interested in laser engravers, especially if you want one that you can quickly pick up and pack and take if you do demos at like a farmer's market, a craft fair, or places like that, or if you just want to engrave on something that is way bigger than a standard laser engraver, you can take this little machine directly to the source and get right to engraving. Keep in mind that this little S1 laser engraver is marketed for you to be able to take the laser to the workpiece as opposed to bringing the workpiece over to the laser. What I'm going to do is I will leave links to the Acmer company as well as links to where this machine can be picked up down in the description box below in case you guys want to go and do further research as well. But you've seen all of the tests that I did in today's video, and I'll hold each of them up in turn and talk about them a little bit as we close the video here. Keep in mind throughout the whole engraving process, anytime the laser was powered on, I had on my safety UV goggles, I had the air filtration unit running, and I had a fan at the shop door trying to blow out as many of those fumes that the laser produces as possible and keeping the air quality out here in the workshop as clean as possible as well. And I also had a fan blowing on the laser itself, helping to keep those fumes at bay. Of course, a laser engraver is really meant to be in a dedicated enclosure to where it can properly extract the fumes and the smoke and everything that they produce while they are running. So please keep that in mind. But a great option if you want a little portable and versatile laser engraver. You do have to zero this laser out with each material you did. So I had to zero this laser out 4 individual times with the 4 tests we done in today's video. Included with the laser in the box is this little square piece of acrylic that is your leveling piece. And what you have to do is put this piece under the little shield there on the material, and you have to turn that knob and either raise or lower the laser head down onto this piece, and that will tell you that the piece is properly zeroed out and leveled out for engraving purposes. Of course, I hope it goes without saying that you need as level a surface as possible to set the machine on to ensure as much accuracy as possible while you are engraving. And I also like that the little shield here that protects your eyes pops off with just some magnets there so you can get in and clean the laser head. Of course, any laser engraver you use will always need maintenance and a little bit of TLC. They accumulate a lot of grime and dirt depending on how much you use them, and it's just like any tool out in your garage or workshop, you just need to keep them clean. And it's nice that that pops off so you can get in there and clean everything. So one final look at the S1 6-watt laser. Again, this is the new 6-watt laser, but now I'm going to look at all of the tests we done in today's video. The first test we done on a piece of cardboard that was included with the laser engraver itself was a laser belt alignment test, and this file can be easily found online or on some Facebook groups or things like that, and this just ensures that the belts on the laser are properly tensioned and running properly. If they are too loose or if they are over tensioned, it can potentially be detrimental to whatever you are engraving. The accuracy will not be there. But you can see with this test, each of the shapes connected properly, and if the belts were too loose or over tight, those shapes there would not connect. And it's a test that I do periodically over on my big laser as well. But this was the first thing we done, and then we re-zeroed it out with that piece of acrylic I showed you, and we done an engraving and cut test here. And I just typed in Acmer S1 6-watt laser engraver, and this piece of material here was also included with the laser engraver. 3mm basswood, I think it's called, the craft wood that you can get for laser engravers, and it engraved it precisely and accurately with what I typed in the Lightburn software. Again, the laser is able to use different softwares, but I love using the Lightburn software because of how powerful it is and what you can do with the software. But then you can see it cut cleanly and precisely through the material there. It also cut through the cardboard very cleanly with very little residue on the back side of it. And then I wanted to do a proper laser cut test, and this is a file that I personally designed in Lightburn myself, and I've got it saved to test with all the laser engravers that come by the workshop here. And you see it says material test Speed 300, power 89%, and I've always been told, and I've read online, that you never want to run a diode laser engraver wide open at 100%, because if you do it all the time, it can damage the actual laser head itself, so please be aware of that. But I've dialed it back to 89%, which is a totally safe power to run it on, and these little P's you see here on the board, that represents one pass, so it went around one time, 2 passes, and 3 passes, and you can see with just one pass at 89% and 300 speed, it did not even mark the backside of the material. But then when we went to 2 and 3 passes, it cut through cleanly and precisely. And this is 1/4 inch material that I like to use over at the laser. And keep in mind, that laser, the S1, is not really meant for a lot of laser cutting due to its compact nature. It's more meant for engraving. But I was curious and wanted to test it out, with the 1/4 inch material I like to use out here in the workshop. And you can see it engraved and cut precisely and cleanly. And then the final test we done was a slate drink coaster. I've done a lot of these in the past on the various lasers out here in the workshop, and they are always a big hit and people love them. They usually order them in packs of 4, and some people even go and make little compact bases for them to sit down in, like a little cradle. But I've done a classic Jolly Roger, and I thought that I had it squared perfectly on the slate coaster, but you can see it's just a tad bit off center. But it is the classic Pirates Jolly Roger with the skull and the crossed swords. And it took the laser around 10 minutes to engrave this, so just please be aware of that. I picked these coasters up in bulk off of Amazon. They're relatively cheap. The more you buy, the cheaper they are. I clear coated it with Rust-Oleum clear gloss, and you can see the laser done its job with etching away that clear gloss, leaving the nice pirate image on it. And it has the little rubber feet on the back. That way it does not slide around when you put it on a counter, a side table, or a kitchen table, or anything like that. So this right here is what I can really see that laser engraver being used for. But I also see other potential uses for it. If you are a scroll saw woodworking artist like myself, and you make a beautiful and immaculately detailed piece of scroll saw fretwork, you can take the laser to it, turn the piece over, and engrave your name, your brand, your logo, or a quote on the back of it in a nice professional manner. Keep in mind, the way that this laser is marketed is you take the laser to the piece, you do not bring the piece over to the laser. So just please be aware of that. One more nice look at it. I hope that this video inspires you guys to maybe go out and seek out a laser like this for your garage or workshops. And please keep in mind, due to the nature of it lasering through wood material, a laser engraver, I hope it goes without saying, is a machine that you never want to walk away from. Now, of course, I think it's safe to quickly walk away and use the restroom or get a drink of water or something like that, but stay near the laser the entire time it is running, because the materials do have a potential to ignite, and I want everyone out there to be as safe as possible out in their garage or workshops. Once again, I'll leave links to where that laser can be found, as well as the Acmer company, down in the description box below this video. And I hope you guys enjoyed the video from start to finish. And if you're new to the channel, hopefully you'll click that subscribe button and follow me across all my social media feeds under the Artisan Pirate name. As always, links to contact me, as well as all my social medias, will always be linked down in the description box below these videos. That's about all for this one. And remember, guys, if I can make it or do it, so can you guys. I'm the Artisan Pirate. Take care, and I'll see you guys real soon.